You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Good morning, BigBeat. How you doing today, my friend?
Good, man. Look, I just saw where the IMF just increased their 2025 global growth outlook to 3% from 2.8, and 2026 forecast to 3.1 from 3. So really, that's not much of a global growth if you're talking about the whole world, and that's not enough. Elon Musk may be right about this situation with people not having enough people on the planet here to sustain this growth here.
Isn't AI supposed to take care of that for us?
I mean, it's going to write me my life sentence, right, and tell me everything I should be doing in life. Absolutely right, Howard. I think that's funny. I think you look at it from the perspective of global growth and IMF, they're also including countries that are negative growth, right? And you're also including countries that may be tariffed and having problems and having issues with their Fed, and what we're seeing that now, right? Look, it's a very busy week with earnings this week. We know that it's a very busy week with people concerned about the Fed. What's the Fed chair going to do? Yesterday, you heard Steve Flanagan talk about it, that they're going to raise lower rates tomorrow, right? I don't think so. I think the Fed is going to stick at the nose and he's going to tell Trump, no way. I think it's been one more month. I think we're not going to see that until September now. And it's unfortunate because why? Because PCE. Why? Because inflation is still sticky. It's unfortunate. We made some mistakes. We've got to lower rates, but the Fed here just doesn't believe it, and the Fed is not all together now. This is disjointed, meaning that the first time in a long time they're not all voting together. So there is a little bit of cracks in that situation. But right now, do not expect the Fed to lower rates tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't expect them to. Like you said, we'll see a split vote. We know at least the two that are trying to vie to be the next Fed chair, Bowman and Waller, are both going to dissent. And then there are talks that some of the moderates, that's what I'll be looking at to see if the moderates start to follow suit also. You mentioned Mr. Flanagan. I think we got to start there. DXY getting that short squeeze he was talking about here, up at 99.06. So it broke through that level he mentioned just yesterday, those of you that follow us. And as he said, everybody was short, and it's the squeeze is coming. It's starting on the forex side. So we'll see what we get here. That was my first takeaway. Second takeaway has to be muted, but S&P set another record 6 in a row yesterday. Futures are pointing to gains again today. Mega cap earnings today or tomorrow, really. Fed decision tomorrow. Payroll reports. There's a lot of news data here right now, Steve. What do you think we got coming on today?
Earnings. But again, we talk about earnings, and it's not about earnings as in what they did last. What'd you do last week, right? To me, it's about the future, right, and what they're talking about, and I'm just not seeing it. You saw Novo Nordisk, a weight loss drug itself, is now down 21.5%. I've said this, right, that's not, when we talk about stocks and what we're buying, it's best in class. Novo Nordisk was not best in class for me. That was Eli Lilly. And they talked about not that it was the numbers in the past, because they actually made their numbers, but it was their slower growth in the future, and there it is, right, and guidance cut and a new CEO, right? They tried to, and it didn't work out. So boom, now down 21.5% here this morning. Now, I have said it, buy the dip, sell the rip, right? We bought the dip back in April, and I'm selling. I sold 25% of the portfolio. I might sell even more today because the market's still pushing up. I don't like this market. When you push up with, right, you're seeing guidance by PayPal is telling you that guidance is weak.
Yeah, right? If you look at everyone that I'm going to put up here, UPS, they wouldn't give future guidance. UNH, we know the issues there, but they cut their guidance to $16 from 26. Whirlpool's cutting their dividends, so if, again, that's future looking there. Again, we are seeing some winners there. I don't want to do that. Cadence Design, strong beat, raised guidance, so they are up 8%. Amcor up about 11% on a big beat on EPS and revenue. Boeing, and like you said, they had losses, but they were small and expected. And again, guidance actually positive for them, so good there. And lastly, Corning. So some of the components of the Dow today moving to the upside. Did you have that in your bingo card? I didn't.
Well, Corning makes the glass for the phones, and guess what? Right, and when you make Gorilla Glass is the name of it, and when you make that kind of stuff, if you don't know why GLW, the former company's name was Glassworks. Corning became Corning when they took over a company that makes stuff that you stick in your oven to make food,
the best
bakeries. Yeah, and look, they have a huge moat, and that's what's cool about them. If you live from home and you work from home and you do all those things from home, and which is the majority of people now, then guess what? Corning Glassworks is actually doing pretty well. And guess what? Your phone is no longer going to have one screen; it's going to have 2 and 3 in the future. Your wearables are going to have it from Glassworks, and eventually the way that you see the world will be through glass that can't break when you drop it. And guess what? That's the company Corning. So that's why I do like Corning. I've liked Corning for a long time, and they've also given a pretty good guidance saying that things are going to get even better in the future. So yeah.
We do see U.S. May home prices coming in down another 0.2%. I believe that's the third or fourth month in a row with a drop.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's when does home prices meet the buyers? Not yet. I was on the ship and I met with one of the premier real estate agents, and she was saying, look, it's just, if you're a buyer, wait. If you own your home outright, you don't own anything on it, you're in the best shape you've ever been in the history of your life, because you don't have to worry about getting a loan, right? And even if rates go up or down, and that's what you're seeing, right? The people that are buying these homes are actual companies. They're not people moving around. Why? Because they've got a really good deal on their home. Unfortunately, Howard, you're not going to be able to refi your home anytime soon, and that's just the case, right? And you're not even seeing that now with unfortunately with the Fed not wanting to lower rates again. So all of these things are happening. Home prices are going to continue to slip until the buyers meet the sellers.
Yep, absolutely. There for sure.
Good morning, Zara.
How are you doing? Howard Lutnick was on CNBC. I've never seen a guy so bullish and happy and giddy that early in the morning. It was sort of annoying at this point. He says we're going to have a lot of things done by Friday. You buying it?
No. I do like Cantor Fitzgerald. I do like the company. He's CEO, if you don't know. Howard is now Secretary of Commerce, and his job is to make everybody feel good about the world. And it's these traits. And, you heard Steve Flanagan talk about it. I mean, he's been right about everything else. Look, here it is. Could we have all these deals by Friday? No. The president is now out there saying that if you don't have a deal by this Friday, then we're going to pretty much throw you out with the baby, the bathwater, as I've been saying lately. And it's his push. It's a pressure to get it done, right? So no, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. But do I? Because here's what's happening. We've given China another 90. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we're right on the gut. We're right on. Actually, Howard and I didn't even talk this morning. I've been so busy. I've been up since 6. Right. We're warning other countries, you better get on gear or you're in trouble, right? And they don't care. The BRICS are now lining up against the president here. They don't really care. They're like, fine, you don't. We have stuff you want, and fine, go ahead, tariff us because we'll tariff you even more. We're seeing that the main players in our trade are coming together: Vietnam, Japan, but we need China on board here. We buy a lot of stuff from China. Now, Trump was talking about the rice trade in Japan, that we're going to sell them rice. Okay, they'll take that rice and resell it somewhere else, right? They know what to do with it. This is not a situation. Look, I understand what he's trying to do, but it doesn't work. It has never worked. It won't work this time. I heard that we're trying to give and I heard a senator now is trying to give everybody a check for $600 based on the money coming back from tariffs.
Let's just pay down our debt.
Is it COVID money?
Before we buy anything else, pay down our debt. The same thing that I tell my nephew. Same thing I tell my wife, and she tells me, let's pay down our debt before we buy something else. It is the first rule.
Yeah, I like it. Keep her. She's right.
Yeah, it's the first rule, so that's all I'll say to that. Hey, listen, I hope it brings money in. I don't, like I said,
it will bring money in.
Smarter than me, are saying that it won't work, so I have to side with them.
It will bring money in. There's no doubt about it. It's going to bring money in for a little while.
We pay for it.
We pay for it, right? And we're going to get tired of paying for it. And you know what's happening right now? People are paying for it. They're paying up for it. But credit card delinquencies are at an all-time high. Auto delinquencies are at an all-time high. People paying on their mortgages, all-time high of delinquencies. This is what's happening, right? They're paying it, but the credit card companies are going to do very well. Visa's, MasterCard. Merck cut $3 billion. Yeah. I agree. Yes. I'll tell you this much though. Merck has a few drugs coming out that are really good. So yes, Keytruda is going to be coming out, but I'm not worried about Merck at all. Merck's got a nice pipeline. And if you don't know, you can also use Quasar Markets. You can go into the FDA module and you can pull up all of Merck's stuff that's coming up. Really wild, all the things that are happening there, Merck. So Merck's back on track.
They are down 4% after that earnings came out. So just bringing which ones are up and down here.
Yep. If you pull up a chart on Merck, you can see I do like, if you look at the daily chart on Merck, we are trying to get to that 200-day. I do like this tranche here that we're moving down. Obviously, it's higher lows, lower highs. So we're starting to peak a bit here. But I do like, if you pull up a monthly chart on Merck, for those of you, I know Merck is one of those. There you go. If you can see what I see? That's what I see. I think we could push right back up. If you're a long term, you're looking for alpha, and you're one of those investors who just buys and holds and adds. You do the BigBeat method where you scale in. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. If you can hold for a year or two, you're going to be a very happy camper. I think so. And they have a good dividend too.
There you go.
Dividend right now, yield is 3.81.
Slightly up, and advanced decline up about 1,500 this morning. SPY up 18 basis points. The NASDAQ up about 40 basis points, getting ready to open here. Bitcoin still stuck in the same trading range between 117.5 and 120. No real breakout there. Silver stalled out at 38 here after making that run up towards 40. Hasn't been able to break that level. Gold back at 33.22, so it did hold at that 3,300 level and moving back to the upside. The one that's down in a very interesting area is the VIX here, 1486. This almost gets interesting for a shorter term play. You got Fed news tomorrow. You've got 4 of the Mag 7 coming up. We've been in this volatility gap basically with none over the last month. You could get a little aggressive here with the VIX maybe as a play here on a short term, which I do not normally do.
Look, I'm going to get beaten up for saying buy the VXX. I'm still on the VXX. I'm not stopping this. I'm buying more. It's a protection against the portfolio. It's insurance, right? And as I sell off my portfolio, I don't need as much VXX to protect my portfolio. So that's what I'm saying to people. I
actually think I have that, as you know, in covered calls down the road already set up. I actually think it's almost set up for an actual swing trade here.
Oh, wow. You think it's happening. So, okay.
14 up to 15, 16.
Right now, we're hearing that India is expecting a U.S. deal by September, October, and they are bracing for a temporary higher U.S. tariffs between 20 and 25%. So the deal with India probably wasn't going to happen. That's kind of what I thought. Steve was looking for an India deal here coming up in the next month or so. Probably right, but not until September. They're saying now. But India does a lot of business, so it's harder for them to just have an across the board. It's not like a one thing. They have a lot of people as well. So
they also play both sides of the fence more than the
they
others,
do.
right? They are just as in bed with China as they are with the U.S., where that's not the case with most other countries.
That is correct, 100%.
So they got a lot more delicate of a negotiation, I think. We are about 13 minutes from the open here. Sectors of the S&P, most are looking like they're going to open to the upside again right now. Material sector slightly down, and industrials actually slightly down. Oh, and healthcare by UNH and the drug companies. But overall, looking pretty solid for maybe an up day here going into the earnings. Gainers on the day, WGS, which is Genedex Holdings, up 28% here this morning. This is on a new SEC 10Q filing. AMKR, which is Amkor Technology Semiconductor Company, after their earning beat, up about 14% here today. And they're bringing some of the tech and chip companies moving up here today. The sector in general having a pretty solid day, with NVIDIA up 1.17 here. AVGO up 0.85. The one still getting hit, TSM, second day in a row getting hit here. ASML down slightly today, but AMD, Texas Instruments, Qualcomm, AMAT, ARM, Micron, ADI, Intel, all moving to the upside here today. So it does look like it wants to be a NASDAQ type of day.
Yeah, I mean, look, international chips are not good if every country in the world is buying our chipset. So NVIDIA is still the rocket machine here. Howard, remember when we were buying it under 100? And now NVIDIA is at 179. I think NVIDIA is over its skis right now. So when you look at other chipsets right now, it's all moving to NVIDIA. I get that. Oh, but we need, folks, people were crying at 105. We're going, NVIDIA is overbought. 105. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was time to buy. And Howard absolutely crushed it. He bought those, I think he bought 150 calls. Is that right? I mean, look at it. And it happened on the air, right? I think that's the key here, is that we need to understand when things, the mispricing of pricing. Make sure we understand that mispricing of pricing. Now we're mispriced. Now we're way out of skis, right? If I look at Palantir, remember on the show, we talked about Palantir at 35? 158.23 today. 160 was the high, right? These are stocks that are easy to understand. Yeah, looky there. What do I say? Royal Caribbean at $100 was cheap because the fleet was worth more than the $100. And trust me, I left money in Royal Caribbean last weekend. Right? I know they're making money hand over fist. The ships are packed, jam-packed. But guess what? It's overpriced too. And
they're down 6.25% after earnings here today. And as you said, they beat consensus on EPS and on revenue, but they talked about their full year guidance. They actually about even with it. They didn't really bring it down, but they're down following their earnings. Their CEO said demand remains robust with strong last minute booking trends, especially premium and new offerings like private islands. And their CEO said they are in full growth mode. The fuel and capacity timing pressure costs are what's driving some of the headwinds here, especially on the new ship, the Star of the Seas.
You know, it's interesting when I talk about when I'm on the ships themselves, and I do what I call channel checks. I always look at them and go, "Oh my goodness, the way that people act on the ship, right? How are they acting on the ship?" And not good or bad. I don't care about that. I'm talking about, are they new? Are they lost on the ship? Do they know what they're doing? Do they know when to go to eat? They know when to go to the pool. No, they stay. Why? Because they're new cruisers, and you're seeing a lot of that happening. Because the ability to go on a cruise a vacation is cheaper than what they think first is cheaper because but when they get on the ship, everything you got to do, you got to pay for, right? You have to go and you go to an island and you pay for the going on the island. You want to upgrade, great. If you just want to go, these companies know how to get money out of you, right? And they're good at that. So I don't see any issues here, but Royal Caribbean is overbought. That's me saying it. I think I'll probably be looking at it probably around a 250-ish, and that's when I'll be looking to buy back. Get a little bit of a pullback.
Line at 246.07.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just curious if you were buying the dip here, so you just gave the answer no. It needs to dip more. I know it's one of your favorite brands there. One of the ones we talked about that was interesting going into earnings, Nucor down about 7.27% here, Steve. A little surprised by that personally. What are you thinking here with Nucor?
When you look at the miners in general and what they're mining right now, we need to mine rare earths pretty fast. We need to get those in the pipeline pretty fast if we're going to have to deal with China on the rare earth situation. Right now, Nucor to me seems to be one of those companies, but their costs are getting a little overrun right now. So I think Nucor right now is a little over its skis as well. Are we seeing a theme here, folks? I mean, all of these companies, these are basic companies that are overweight here. They're too expensive, right? So when you have companies holding up the rest of the world, the Nvidias, these chipset companies, Mag 7s are holding up the whole market. Eventually, it's going to come down. Eventually, it's going. And guess what? You better be prepared. And I am. I'm already preparing. I'm not the one going in the bunker like as if I'm a prepper, right, for the markets here. But I'm just saying, look, I'm not saying sell everything. I've never done that. If I do that, if I'm banging the desk, I can sell everything. It's 2008, and I don't see that happening right now. I just see that the markets are way out of whack, and they need to pull back a little bit. And guess what? That's healthy. It's healthy to have a pullback to go forward. So yeah,
absolutely. And Nucor did point to strong sequential growth, reflecting operational efficiency gains, but year-over-year softness seems to be what's dragging it down today. Their EPS is down 3% from last year, even though it looks green on your screen because they did hit estimates. Those were down from the year. They are hitting margin pressure, especially in the steel mills. Despite a backlog, cost increases are still persistent there. So a cautious tone, but basically from the CEO in their earnings report. Steve, one of your favorites going into earnings tomorrow was one of the movers earlier, now pulling back a little bit. Cheesecake Factory was up almost 2% earlier this morning, now pulling back a little bit, only up 87 basis points. So not as much to talk about as I had previously thought.
Yeah, look, what have I been talking about? I've been talking about cake since about in the 40s. I mean, here we are again, where we're up in the upper 60s. Stop. I mean, it's too much, right? We made this run. I remember back in April, I've talked about it for a while. I said it. April was a capitulation. And I took a lot of heat for that from a lot of shows going, oh, the market could pull back even further. It could. Yeah, you're right. But it didn't because the capitulation happened. They had rug pulled everybody. Retail got burnt, and retail got told, oh, the world's burning, while guess what? Institutions were buying. Guess what the institutions are doing now? They're selling and retail is buying. I mean, I don't want to say dumb money because it's not fair, but don't chase. We make decisions based on themes and theses. We make basis on, are we mispriced? Yeah, we're mispriced. Oh, but it could go up higher. But yes, it can, and it is a little bit. I don't care. I want to be prepared. And when I watch the markets like this, and it angers me because I know people are going to get hurt, and I don't really understand why there's so much FOMO. Why are we buying meme coins and GMC and AMC or GME and all that? Why? because you saw it on Twitter. Okay.
Oh,
great.
you boomer, you're living in back 3 years ago. They're buying Open Door and you got the wrong ones, and Kohl's now. It's different
Sorry,
memes.
I
They're
missed
different
it.
memes. Come
And
on,
we
you
traded
boomer.
Coles. We killed Coles, right? How much way to go? We shorted Coles, right? I mean,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
no. I love it.
One of the companies you have been fairly negative on that I am a big fan of because I actually use them is SoFi.
Yep.
SoFi had really nice earnings, up really nicely here, almost for 10%. Profitability, Q2 marked the 7th consecutive profit quarter for them, just demonstrating consistent momentum. Revenue growth, adjusted revenue rose 44% year over year, driven by new members, and that was the number that.
Yep, you're right, Howard. But let me tell you why I don't like them, and this is why it's going to catch up and beat them in the ass eventually. They only beat by 2 pennies. Okay, so let's get real revenue. Revenue here was up 44%. How did they get that revenue? On fees. They were a fee-based bank, right? So, who wants a fee-based bank? I don't.
Well, we don't, but unfortunately, what you just talked about and what's coming to the U.S. economy means we need those banks that are going to help buyers, sort of, or lenders of last resort, and that's what SoFi tends to be. They help with, consolidation loans. They do a lot there, but they do mortgages. They do everything. Yeah, they are fee based, and while I don't like fees, I know someone's getting them, and it's them. And they added 850,000 new members in Q2, up 34% year over year.
I like the ease of the bank. The bank it's a much easier. It's an app. People are so used to apps or on the mobile, right? I will tell people that you start living your life by mobile, and you're going to end up being a mobile person. That's great, but you don't see the big picture, right? You need to be able to see the bigger picture. When I go on my own banks, I do use my mobile phones to do that, but I do mobile banking. It's easy. But when I want to look at the bigger picture, I go to my computer. I don't, or my screens, I should say. It doesn't matter if it's a computer or however you use it. And SoFi does not do a very good job there. It looks just exactly the same. So I don't know. I still don't like it. I still don't like the bank.
Yeah. What I would tell you is they're good about expanding their ecosystem, and they have a pretty good ecosystem. In other words, they do a good job of, once they have you in, whether you have a credit card, they offer good, they're good at customer loyalty. First of all, their customer service is outstanding. Okay. And then what they do a good job of is they're like, okay, now that you have a credit card with us, you're like a bank account, we're going to offer you this, one-time thing to do it. So you're like, yeah, that's a good deal. I'll get a bank account. I was one of those guys, started off just with a credit card, and it was more because they were a Bitcoin adopter and I liked them. And it turned into that I have, like 4 products with them now because of the fact that they got me in the ecosystem and I liked it. So that's for me, I invest in what I know and like, and that's one of them. Here we go. We are open and now up 12.56. So others following in, up 13.5. We got a runner in SoFi here, up 13.56%. One of the ones moving here this morning. As we hit the open tick, slightly negative, advanced decline opens up at 2350 to the upside here. The Dow Jones opens up pretty flat on the day, being weighed down by UNH again, Merck, and some of the healthcare, and then those mining stocks we talked about also. SPY up 0.25 basis points here. Big move to the upside by the Qs, up 56 basis points, and everything off the start is to the upside here. Same thing, Bitcoin moving back up towards 119 here, 118 at 950. Gold 33.20. Its actual first move is to the downside. So gold, the only thing that I'm seeing here with its first move to the downside. Silver move to the upside. Gas or oil, WTI and Brent, both first moves to the upside. So most things first move to the upside. Tick is slightly negative now here, so we'll see if that starts to change. Dow is slightly negative, as I said. And it shows you that that's really UNH, Merck, the big names, because the RUT is up 70 basis point, which would normally be getting hit if that was some of the smaller names. VIX did jump a little bit, right, to 14.78 here, so a little bit moved to the upside there on the open, not a big one. Taking a look at Mag 7, Tesla down about 88 basis points. All the others are in the green this morning. I'm going to take a look here to see if we're noticing any quick reversals one way or the other. SoFi now up 15%. Wow. 16%.
And believe it or not, Howard, I actually bought SoFi. And I am about to sell my SoFi.
Yeah, there you go. SoFi right there. You can see it was in a breakout for sure.
And I just sold my SoFi, and I had 4,000 shares. So
Nice. Nicely played, my friend. Palantir 160 here again, challenging all-time highs.
SoFi still going. Oof, missed that one. Maybe I could have got hold of. Why couldn't I hold on there, Hondo? Why can't I hold on? Come on, brother.
No, Coinbase making a move here. So we're seeing the tech names. Chip started off, like I said, but all tech names moving up nicely here. I took a YOLO on PayPal that did not work out, but otherwise everything else moving up really nicely for me.
Why didn't I hold on SoFi? Look at that, 24.91 now.
Yeah, up 18%. Doesn't look like it wants to stop. Like I said, those numbers were huge. Those numbers were huge.
$25 now on SoFi.
Yeah. Yeah, great move up there.
And it happened right here on the show. That's the thing. We don't mess around. We tell it the way it is.
I'll be looking for my commission check in the mail for that call, by the way. You wouldn't have had SoFi on your bingo card.
No, I would not.
But that's how it works. Sometimes our viewers give us those names. Don't be afraid. If you got something you like out there, throw it at us. We'll take a look at it, tell you what we think about it. I will say at some point here, these mining names start to get interesting in me, Steve, because Albemarle down again on that, new core news.
Dropping SoFi there. Oof.
Some of these
money run.
Start to get interesting. We'll say Galaxy Digital getting hit here. If it pulls back to a decent spot, I'm interested on that also. I want to see it.
Nasdaq's up 105 points now here. I still don't like this market. I still don't like it.
Well, like you said, you're not trying to time it.
Right.
And that's what we mentioned to everybody. I want to be clear about that. Steve's still trading the market. He has just, like I said, he is.
Oh, we don't stop trading. I will never stop trading. I will be trading in the day I die. I'll still have some way of trading stocks and options. I love this game, right? I love this the investment side of things. I've been doing it since I was 16 years old.
Yeah, kind of mad at myself. I didn't notice that Galaxy Digital pulled right back to that big level that I would have bought at.
Tick now down 140 and advanced decline.
Yeah, hopefully you get. This is.
Somebody dumped a bunch of gold here. Gold just dropped here.
Yeah, again, $10.
Yeah. Someone is dumping gold.
19.
Be careful out there.
Guess we're not going to space this week. ASTS down again.
We are not, no.
Berkshire Hathaway trying to regain that 200-day MA. Steve, did you see the mergers going through with Norfolk Southern? There you go.
You know what? If you're a long-term trader and you're looking for a long-term stock, Norfolk is going to be a good company down the line, right? But it's not BNSF. Silver not trying to push back up here. Gold trying to push back up here. Open is pushing up a little bit here. This is down 6% here, down 6.5%. As this the meme stock or the whatever the craziness is again, getting closer to that 200-day moving average now.
Advanced declines dropped down to 1713, so
yeah,
after getting as high as 2400 there this morning. With that, the rut pulling back a little bit. Nvidia now 180, challenging 180, Steve.
We're seeing a drop here in the VIX again, 40.56.
Yeah. Getting right to this is the 1448 area for my VIX is where I'm sort of targeting here for it's that level. A little bit gold starting to hold up at that 33.15 area. Bitcoin really not doing much of anything here.
No,
Right
it's not.
119. Consolidating, not much there. Ethereum slightly up, but not really doing much either.
Novo Nordisk now down 21%, so it's not as bad as it was. It might be consolidating just a little bit here. I know there's a little bit of a pullback, just this section right here, but you might be hitting Novo Nordisk's. The capitulation might have happened today, so you saw the bounce not once but twice down there. So it did test. So it could be very interesting here.
We'll say Li Auto up about almost 5% here this morning. I don't like those Chinese ADRs, but I like that company and their cars very much. Steve, CBRE Group up about 8.24% here this morning, moving up.
What have I said? I like real estate right now. Why? Because it's been beaten up. I do agree with that.
CDNS now up 9.52%. Upstart up another 3.69%. Makes sense based on the SoFi news. Like I said, Chip's having a pretty good day.
SoFi back up again.
I'm actually looking at
24.50. Yeah,
looking at the laggards right now. See if anything that I like is in the group.
if you're out there, give us a shout out. Say hello. I see some comments.
Steve, are you interested in Eli Lilly here down 6%?
Not yet. No.
I look at VIX or a VIX.
Of
Just
course, I look
regular
at VIX.
VIX.
Yeah. Honestly, what am I looking at today? I'll be honest with you, my screens right now. I'm doing a screener on mutual funds right now, Howard. That's what I'm looking at, to be honest with you. I'm looking to put some of that money back to work in things that has not been working out. And I love that. That's what I'm looking at.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's mostly global stuff. I'm looking at a lot of international.
Emerging markets or
Yeah.
seeing the chips are up tremendously today, led by SNPS up 7.64%, but we see Nvidia up 1.23%, Broadband up 2.35%, TSM now up 0.15%, ASML the only laggard in Intel. JP Morgan quietly set an all-time high here this morning. Same, well, no, Goldman Sachs did not. They hit one yesterday. So investment banking definitely not dead.
No.
Schwab all-time high too, 99.34. So trading.
I've been talking about Schwab for a while now, 24.03 now in SoFi. So if you were looking to a nice little short there, I think that was it.
Almost all the banks right at their all-time highs.
BMNR, that's Bitmine, now down at around another 7% here today. So
yeah, SharpLink, SBET was down also. Almost all of the crypto stocks from Bitcoin mining companies, Mara and TeraWulf, are really the only ones up. All the others are down today. Metaplanet up 3.38%. AMKR keeps moving to the upside, now up 21.1%. I will say WGS, which was that Genedex, has pulled back the majority of that gain to the upside, went as high as 108, now back at 92.19. Looks like it could close the gap all the way to the 84 level. Talent Energy setting an all-time high here also. Nice move to the upside. TLN up 1.35% here today. Brown and Brown on the other side is down 10.36%. They had earnings yesterday. Wow. They filled a gap that was there since July of 2024 today. Stanley Black & Decker down 7.34% after their earnings. They got a little bit of a hammer candlestick forming though. Not much there. Mag 7 to the downside mostly. Instead, Nvidia up, Microsoft up, Google pretty flat, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, Netflix, and Apple down slightly here. Tomorrow we do have, I believe, Amazon and Apple.
yeah, we're seeing a big pullback here in the Qs here.
Hughes did set another intraday high today, 572.11 all-time high. Same thing. S&P now 7 straight days of an all-time high, 638.67 on the SPY. Hughes 572.11. So we did set again another day, another all-time high. Not seeing a bunch else there, Steve. MSTR just went positive on the day. That could churn some of those crypto names. You watch anything else here, Steve?
Yeah, actually, you know what's interesting? I just bought a mutual fund. I'll put it up here for everybody. So EICGX. I bought China. I think I'll put that out there for everybody. There you go. I look, that's me. It's not a Quasar market thing. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it that way. I bought EICGX.
Nice.
Man, look at Q's at lows now today. I had a feeling. I don't like this market. I don't. There's nothing here that I like. I just don't like it.
BMNR just announced a $1 billion buyback plan. Yeah, not a ton here. Bitcoin starting to fade out here a little bit.
Yep. I mean, everything. Look at that. Look at the Nasdaq just dropping now. I think people just realize that. Yeah.
Yep. Probably going to be a similar day to what we saw yesterday, an actual red day, but where we hit a new all-time high and it just fades back down throughout the rest of the day. I don't think there's enough news today that would change that. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be the day to watch. I think everyone's starting to wait for Fed Day, right? Now you sort of settle in. Not much happens today, especially afternoon, and we stay right there.
Yep.
Yeah, everything that made the run looks like it's made the run now, starting to pull back. Although SoFi is moving back up a little bit at 24.32, so that is holding a little bit of steam here. Most of the laggards, I don't see any real bounce coming. RCL's still sitting down 8.47%. PayPal's given a little bounce from that 70 level, but that's really about it. It's gone up to 72.72 or so. So a little pump, not much. UNH, not really. Still at 266.33. Looks like it's going to continue to move to the downside. What has moved up is that Baker and Baker I mentioned, the financial company there. They moved back up a little bit. Nucor, not really. Galaxy Digital continuing to move to the downside. SBET, SharpLink, which is the Ethereum-based company, now down 5.78%. So moving back down to the downside. Webull down about 5.79% here. UPS now down almost 8%. That one continues to fall to the downside, Steve. Uber at the lows of the day down 3.33. So laggards are continued to drop to the downside here. Not many of the early morning flyers holding up. Like I said, SoFi, one of the few. CBRE also holding up well here. Not many. Most of them are fading out. Make sure you are selling into those rips. Circle looked like it wanted to move here today, but that just got sold off. It's trying to bounce at this 187.80 area. Not a ton going on here, Steve. What are your predictions for the rest of the day?
I think we might have. It might be the beginning of a sell-off as people realize that we're not going to get this Fed cut tomorrow.
Okay, I think we're going to see a similar day to yesterday. I don't see the bottom following out yet. I think it will fall out a little bit more maybe tomorrow. We'll see what we get as we get into that Mag 7 earnings. After hours today, I did have a list here.
I really like the SoFi's chilled out though. I don't like the bank, but I like the fact that it's chilling out though. That the buyers and the sellers are matching up quite nicely here.
Yep. I had after hours earnings. Here we go. We do have jolts out today at 10, Steve, so coming up at the top of the hour.
Yeah. Which right now, I don't think people care about jobs right now, unfortunately.
Stephen, on the other side, did you see what's going on at the Sphere there? They're going to use AI to reproduce the Wizard of Oz with Google AI technology.
Yep. free Dorothy.
Yeah, immersive, outpainted scenes, AI pushing the media boundaries. So it could be interesting. I know you've gone to the Sphere a couple of times, right?
Yeah, been there 3 times. Yeah, I do like the Sphere. It's a little, it's big. I've been on the top, I've been the bottom. Did it? I saw Kenny Chesney there. I saw U2 there, and I saw. They have a show that you can see every day, and it's kind of like fly around the earth and stuff, which is pretty wild.
Nice.
You know, it's interesting. The dollar here, the Dixie here, 98, 95 as it's pushing up. But you know what I'm seeing that's pushing up here is light sweet crude here. 67.54 now a barrel as tick is pushing up. So if I do like this commodities thing, commodities are continuing to push up here. If we are going to play the game where we're going to be our own selves and we're going to live our own lives and we're not going to not trade well with other countries and play nice, oil is going to be a place to look at.
Yeah, can't argue with that. He's getting a little bounce here. Not much going on. SPY's up about 17, 18 basis points. Dow Jones down about 0.05. It did bounce a little bit up.
And the 10-year slipping a bit too here, Howard. I mean, 4.376. So, you know, there is a good chance here that we could see some, you know, I mean, money's flowing into the bond market, right? So I think people don't think that there's actually going to be a cut. I mean, the big boys don't think so, right? So, yeah. What do we got here for Tesla here? You notice I've been staying away from Tesla here. 320.80 now, down 1.5% here. 319.50 was the. I just didn't like Tesla the last few days, and I didn't feel stupid that I didn't keep that Tesla short on, because I think that was pretty smart. But yeah, I think Tesla might push up a little bit. Kathy Woods bought a bunch of Tesla yesterday, so could be some of that going on, right? 1 minute now into going into the top of the
clock hour here. Yeah, I mean, Tesla's right at the 200-day MA, so we'll see what happens if it gives it some support or not. Jolts is coming out here at 10. Everybody, for BigBeat and myself, have a good trading day there. We both think it's a little bit of a fade for the day here, so that's what we're watching for. And I think we see a little bit of volatility come back into the market over the next couple of days. Have a great day, everybody.